Hey guys, welcome back. Today I was thinking of creating a post about how test monitoring can be useful to us in identifying certain trends in testing and giving us certain insights on, let's say, which test areas are more stable and which are less stable. And then I realized that even though I have created a very detailed playlist and Project Zero about how you can set up test monitoring and how you can publish certain information on Elastic, but actually I did not cover on how to create good meaningful dashboards in Kibana. And it seems I moved to different topics and I forgot about that topic. So in today's video, I would like to cover on how you can visualize all that information that you public on Elastic to get some meaningful insights in Kibana. So I already have done, for example, my localhost setup. My localhost is already up. If you want to see how to set up localhost, I think you can go through these videos which talks about installing Elastic in Kibana. So I think starting from 38 till 49 is what basically covers this topic in detail. But you can pick which video you want to start with based on your own use case and requirement. So once we have the setup ready, you can see I already have created two graphs here, but let's just create everything from scratch. So let's say if I click on this icon and I click on dashboard, you can create a new dashboard if you don't have any. I already have created one, so I'm going to click on that particular dashboard. And then you will get an option to create visualization. So let's click on create visualization. And as a first graph, what I want to do is I'm curious to know, for example, how many test classes are more stable and how many test classes are, let's say, flaky or failing over a period of time. And I want to see this information visually, for each particular test class. So the way you can do it is you can pick up this graph type called heat map. And by the way, you have a lot of different maps available. So you can, for example, create a metric to calculate how many unique amount of test cases you have. You can create tables. So for example, that can tell you per test class how many have passed, how many have failed. You can create bar charts, vertical charts. But for this particular use case, since I want to see information visually, I'm going to create a heat map over here. And then you have to provide information for x-axis and y-axis. So in x-axis, since I want to see the trend over a period of time, I want it to be a runtime value. And then I want to see in vertical axis, I want to see the value for those test classes, which are passing or failing. And I want to see the breakup for these test classes based on the status. So I'm going to pick the cell value as status. And when we pick this, it right away tells us that there are three test classes: test sandbox, test employee service, and test payment service, which is exactly the same as what we have over here. If you look into this run, we have 16 test cases, which are actually coming from these three test classes. Test sandbox is failing, and which is exactly what you see here. Let's change the color of these two test classes from blue to green, and the way you can do it is you can click on this particular thing URL, and here you can pick up the color. So if something is failing, I want to have that color to be green. Let's go back. A unique counter status. So this looks fine. Save and return. So this is what you get here, right? So we can change the title to something as test stability trend. And trends are always over time, so there's no point writing over time because it's over time. And another thing that you can do in your graphs is you can choose the time duration for each particular graph. So let's say if you're running health checks, you might be interested to see how the health check of your application is for that particular day. So maybe over a window of 8 hours. But when you want to check the test stability, probably you are interested to see how it has been performing over a period of time. So let's say over a period of time of 2 weeks. So if I make it 2 weeks till now, add to panel, you can actually now see the trend over 2 weeks. And I can delete this because now we already have created this. So let's delete it. If you want to create another graph which is very similar to this, but only varies slightly, you can do that. I think a good candidate for this is, for example, health checks. You might also want to see which applications are stable and which applications are not stable in your landscape. So you can actually clone this panel, and then of course you will change the value from test classes to let me come here. So instead of picking up test value of test classes, you can actually publish a tag called application type, for example, which you can publish from your test, and then depending on what applications you are checking via health check, you can get the name of that particular application. So it could be application, let's say booking can come here, payments can come here, employees can come here, and then you can see how that application has been up or down over a period of time. Now, one more thing which I want to say is, in this particular case, it might not look that useful because it's just one run from one particular day. But once you have this data coming over a period of time, it gives you a lot of insight to take decisions. So let's say if one particular application is down more frequently than others, you can go and talk to that particular application owners with this visual information saying that, hey, your application is very flaky, it's not stable. This is where we can see it. What can you do to stabilize it? So it gives you more weight to have those meaningful discussions. If you want to create different kind of graphs, you can also do that. So for example, I have created here now a test trigger trend. Let's create one from the scratch. So let's create visualization. This time I want to create a line chart. I want to create this over a period of time. And I want, for example, to see what has been triggering this test. And in fact, I think this will come on the breakdown, and probably runtime is what will come here. So if I change, now this is runtime per 30 seconds. So that's why it is giving us one run per 30 second. But let's go ahead and change this runtime also to maybe, yeah, let's also do it minimum interval per week, or maybe per day. Let's keep it as how many days? 1 day or 1 hour? Let's see. Triggered by what has been triggering test. I think it makes sense to even have it on every 30 minutes. So let's say if I make it every 30 minutes, group by this field first, and then if I give a save and return, you can see how many tests have run, for example, in the past 30 minutes, right? This one is last 1 week. So it says in the last 1 week I have done 8 runs. Let's change the title to test trigger trend. And maybe it makes sense to see it over a daily period window, like what has been triggering more tests than over 30 minutes. So let's actually go ahead and change this to, let's see if I can change it from here itself. So let's click on this, more customize time range, and let's change it to 2 weeks ago. Add to panel, and now we get exactly the same information that we see over here. So let's actually delete this, delete from dashboard, and now you can see, for example, in this case it's saying that there have been 8 runs from this particular user ID today. But I think more useful could also be to see how many health checks have run on a particular day, or for example, the name of the upstream applications that have triggered certain tests. So let's say in this particular case, if it was a booking API that was being changed, or if it was an employee API or a payment API, and it can also give you insight on what has been triggering those particular tests, not just where those tests are running, but what have been triggering those tests. And you can also create other meaningful graphs, like on what environments a lot of tests are running. Is it your develop environment? Is it your staging environment? You can also, for example, check health checks over a period of time versus health check for a particular day. You can count the number of unique test cases you have on a particular day. You can actually see how the tests have been performing today in terms of count by creating these other kind of graphs as well. So for example, you can create these matrices or tables to get more insights. So there's a lot of things that is possible once you start using this dashboard feature in Kibana. So I think I would like to now stop here at this moment, because I just wanted to, in this video, give a gist of what is possible using Kibana dashboards. And you will see the usefulness of these dashboards once you have more data over here, to see. In this particular case, it's just 1 day's data, so it does not make its usefulness that evident right away. The other cool thing is sort of creating HTML one-time reports. If you share these dashboards in your company with other projects and other teammates, they can see real-time status of how your testing is going on. So it actually answers the question of, hey, how is the testing going? Once you create multiple dashboards, depending on whatever you want to capture, if you can publish it from your test, you can derive a dashboard on that particular thing. And it's all real time. You don't have to create any other reports anymore, and everyone can have solid transparency on what's going on with your testing, in what test environments, with what test triggers, with what test classes. So I think it's a very useful feature once you start using it. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you. See you. Cheers. Bye.